Hi everyone, let's go to problem 24, okay? So 24, what's going on here? Let f of x equals 6 times x cubed minus 11. All right, so let's just try to write it down. F of x equals, all right, so we got 6 times x cubed, and we have minus 11x squared, minus 11x squared, and we get plus 6 times x, and that becomes subtracted by 1. And I need to use r squared and s squared and t squared, where r and s and t are the solutions. All right, so let's just try to use the Viet's formula, okay? So let me use the Viet's formula. Viet's formula, okay? So how do we use Viet's formula? Well, I would say we got to try first writing this down into 6 times x minus r and x minus s and x minus t. Does that make sense? We got to first try to turn this into this following form, and that's what Viet's formula tells us. So accordingly, we can actually write down the basic foundational equations. R plus s plus t. What's r plus s plus t? R plus s plus t. That will be negative of negative 11 over positive 6. So we get 11 over 6, I would say. And that's r plus s plus t. What about rs and st and tr? Well, you can write it rs and st and tr. Well, the product that we just, the binary product, the sum of those binary products are just going to be 6 over 6. So positive 6 over 6, and that becomes 1. Okay. All right, so we have r and s and t that's remaining. So r, s, and t, the product of all these three possible numbers, I would say, or the expressions, will be negative 1 over positive 6. So you can see that the signs are alternating. It starts from negative and positive and negative. Why? Because if we have set it in this following format, if you multiply everything rst, well, that becomes negative rst times 6, which is equal to negative 1. So we need to divide it out by negative, and we end up getting the same numbers. All right. So that being said, we just have to find out, using all of these ideas, to find out r squared and s squared and t squared, the sum of all those values. So r squared and s squared and t squared. How do we find it? Well, I guess we got to use some basic algebra or the old algebra tools that we know. So we first can identify the sum of all those perfect squares, the sum of squares of those, or sum of powers of r and s and t, in terms of just like the relationship between those, like Viet's formula. Well, we're going to try out by writing r plus s plus t squared, and we're going to tackle out 2 times rs and st and tr. So we're going to tackle out all those numbers out in this following format. So, all right, so what is this? 121 over 36. And I'm just taking out 2 of how much? Well, I'm just taking out just 2 times 1. So I get 121 minus 72 divided out by 36. And I would say we get 49 over 36. And none of them is, divisible. So they are relatively prime. So we compute that this must be m over n, which we wanted. So the solution that we wanted was m plus n. So we just have to add these two numbers, which becomes 85. So you can check that we can try out the Viet's formula and use some kind of like old algebra 2 skill sets, which means that if you want to find out the sum of the squares, I would say, of those roots, then you got to take out the square of the sum, divide it out by those binary product, and we end up getting those numbers, okay? So the answer for this question must be 85.